Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadidamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Do you ever think about how you're actually creating things in your life, and if you're creating at the level that you can? I think a lot about this process and what it entails. I'm really fascinated with it. So today's topic is all about the art of manifestation and the nuances that are involved in you creating exactly what you are here to create. Namaste and welcome to the Spiritual Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Alexandra Savitri Amba, director of the American Reiki Academy, Los Angeles' oldest Reiki school, and the Vedic Healing Center. I'm a Reiki master, Vedic healing master, clairaudient channel, and healer who has practiced and taught spiritual self-development and healing for more than 35 years, led pilgrimages to India, and studied with blessed Indian gurus. In this show, we cover topics related to metaphysics, Reiki, Vedic healing, manifestation, spiritual growth, and feng shui, based upon my studies and work in these disciplines. The aim of this show is to help you awaken, develop, and tap into your spiritual power in order that you may live well, manifest your dreams, and ultimately fulfill your unique divine destiny by working from the inside out. It all begins with energy. Today's offering is about the art of manifestation, but expressed maybe in a different way than you have heard it before. So many times we think about the projects that we're creating, the hopes, the visions, and we simply think about the act of putting an idea out there and then pulling it towards us. How do we do that? If we are not working with any metaphysical principles, meta means beyond the physical plane, we probably have an idea and then we just get into action. And that's one way to create. But it actually leaves out another part of the process, which is a really grand and magical part, and that is the internal space. Now, probably if you are creating simply through action, you are still doing something inside before that action takes place. But what I'm referring to is the conscious decision to work with the internal space as well as the external space, the external action. And when you bring them both together, you have what's really sometimes called a miracle. You create something that's even beyond your wildest dreams. So I was thinking about the different components of pulling a dream to you, of bringing it onto the physical plane. And again, in past episodes, I've talked about manifestation and said that we have an idea, a dream, a vision, again, a hope, and we do processes to call it forth. and we get into action, and then when it happens, we say it was real. We made it real. It became real. Sorry, it became real. It manifested. But I'm going to suggest, this is what I've said before in other episodes, that your dream, your vision, your hope is already real. So I'm going to question that concept of what is real. It's already real by virtue of you having that spark exist inside of you, that vision, that dream. It already is real. So when we say it manifested, it became real, it happened, we're talking about seeing it on the physical plane. And so, but before that, I want to suggest that you really understand your vision is already real by virtue of you having it, holding it, and identifying with it in your energy field. So that's the first point I would like to make. And it involves a bit of belief in the value of this dream, of this desire, and just the acknowledgement that it is there. So I've also said in the past that Guruji used to say to me, when you have a strong desire, or a desire, let's say just a desire, from where do you think that desire has come? Because he would first preface everything by saying, all is divine, all is divinity, all is consciousness, all is a result of the divine wisdom at work here. And therefore you can extend that to your desires. Your desires are extensions of this divine wisdom. So everything comes from source energy, from God, from divine wisdom, whatever you would like to call it. And therefore, as we work with manifestation and we start to really understand that our visions have validity, and not only validity, they just are. They are beautiful. They are, just by virtue of being there. There's no reason to validate a desire you have, to explain why you have this desire or why you would like to create it. You would like to create it because you have that desire. That desire is part and parcel of the divine wisdom working through you, of divine light working through you, and saying, hello, this would be very advantageous in your life. So sometimes we get stuck in thinking, oh, I shouldn't have this desire. It's not very, you could say spiritual. Sometimes healers, people on a spiritual path say, it's not very spiritual for me to want this thing. But if we go back to Guruji's teaching, everything is divine. Even your desire is divine. The trick is not to get caught in the desires, not to get attached to the desires. If this doesn't happen, then I will be devastated. So no, they're all just desires. They're all just floating around, and you're observing and then identifying with the desires that would be very fruitful for your evolution, for your growth, and for your self-expression. So you have the desire to take a class. You think this class would really help me in my growth and would help me in my path. You don't necessarily say, oh, I'm being greedy because I want this class. But if you admire, let's say, a fancy car, and you say, oh, I might like to own one of those cars, you might, not all of us, but sometimes you might say, oh, that's not very good of me to want that. But start to separate the idea of wanting from greed. Sometimes, again, healers get trapped in moving so much into the spiritual world. When they want anything, they think it is greedy. But perhaps you are simply identifying with the natural, abundant state on the planet. You are saying, wow, look at all the trees and the gardens and the beauty of nature. I would like to create a garden like that. What's wrong with that thought? Nothing is wrong with that thought. But if you extend it to a material object, your mind may say, oh, you can't have that. That's imagining a little too much. That's not in alignment with your spiritual path. There's nothing wrong with being on this planet and enjoying the beautiful objects, the beautiful things that this planet has to offer us. And again, the trick is not becoming a slave to those things, not becoming attached to any of those things, understanding that everything is transitory. Even the garden you create, in all of its beauty, you may have to leave that garden one day. So that beautiful car you're admiring, and maybe you manifest and you drive it and it's comfortable and you love it, you will, not may, you will have to leave that behind at some point. You will have to leave your garden behind at some point, because we know the soul goes on. So that is kind of a preface for what I wanted to talk about. In regard to the art of manifestation, I'd like to suggest that you begin thinking about it not only as, oh, I have to conjure something up and I have to do some creative visualization or journaling or physical action then to draw this thing to me. But I want you to think about the actual process as a marriage between yin and yang. So a marriage between the feminine and the masculine, Shiva and Shakti, the dynamic and the static energies that exist. I also wrote down act and rest, and I wrote down give and receive. So we're always looking at this balance. And you might have heard this phrase, it's become very common when people say, oh, you don't need to push harder in life. You need to regulate your nervous system. This concept has become popular to express. And what that really means is you're doing too much. That's the male energy. And you're not allowing the feminine part of the equation. And that's where the maybe regulating your nervous system comes in. So the doing and the resting. I put it as rest, but it's not really resting because you're still alive in that resting. Now, in the Vedic tradition, we talk about Shiva and Shakti, and this is exactly expressive of what I'm trying to convey today. So Shiva represents pure consciousness, stillness, awareness, the unchanging witness. and he is described as the static principle. Shakti is the feminine energy. She represents dynamic energy, movement, creativity, all of creation. She is the dynamic principle. And neither is good or bad, neither is complete without the other. So Shiva without Shakti, no good. Shakti without Shiva, no good. Some good, but only half available. And this is why also we have the inclination, we have the innate inclination to look for partnership. We're looking for that other half who will help balance energies with us. But really what happens also on a deep level is we as spiritual beings are searching for that balance within us. And that's why it's often said when you are searching for a partner, you're looking for love, true love, you want to work on yourself so that you can become as balanced and whole as possible and attract someone else who has achieved a certain degree of balance and wholeness. And then you complement each other. There's no codependence. There may be dependence, of course, but no codependence, no unhealthy dependence. I can't live without this other person, and an unhealthy relationship results. So you really want to work on yourself at all times. It will always benefit everything that you create. Now back to this interesting concept of Shiva and Shakti. In the Vedic tradition, Shiva is personified as a male deity, and he is complemented by Shakti, a feminine deity form. And within that also, they have many, many nuances. Shakti takes many forms as the goddess in different incarnations and different depictions. And one interesting thing is when Shiva takes the form of Nataraj, the dancing Shiva, he embodies both the qualities. He is, in essence, stillness in motion. So if you think about this concept in your life, you are working on becoming stillness in motion. With your spiritual practice, you are working with yoga, breathing, Reiki, chanting, meditation, visualization, pranayama. You are attempting to achieve a great degree of stillness so that when you are in motion in the world, that stillness will direct and animate everything that you create. So all of these practices are meant to help us move through life without losing our center, our balance, our stillness. You know, if you have a dramatic event in your life, and let's say something comes up and perhaps there is a conflict, and what you aim to do is to remain very steady in dealing with the conflict. Because if you get into a chaotic state, the results will not be as good. So always we're being challenged to find this steadiness in the midst of activity. When you go out into the world, you're taking your spiritual practice into the world. The world is in movement, in flux, in sometimes chaos every day. And you are bringing that peace, that presence into the world. You are carrying that forth from what you have generated in the practices that you do. So as this relates to manifestation, when you are trying to pull something into your life, the best thing that you can do is to remember this dual action that's taking place, the dual pattern, let's say, that's taking place, the movement of male and female energies. So you can do all of the internal work you desire and then bring it forth into physical action. But that internal work is going to guide what manifests. It's going to help you manifest to a higher degree. We know we don't really manifest the things that we desire out of a state of chaos. We first need to maintain calm, to center ourselves. Think about if you are going to write an exam in school. If you go into that exam and you have not studied, maybe you've studied right before the exam. You've looked through the textbook and in a hurried way, an hour before the exam, you're looking, trying to find answers, a little bit frazzled, and then you go into the exam. You probably won't have the degree of results that you would like if you had chosen to sit down in stillness and study for a few days and then walk into that exam with a greater degree of presence and surety and knowledge, because you have studied, so you are ready. So we're always encountering the world like this. We're always bringing together the male and female energies. And, sometimes the feminine energies are seen as chaos. But that chaos is divine. It is movement. It is like the butterfly. It is going from here to there to there. And but that butterfly is not manic. There is a stillness to the butterfly even when she is in motion. So I think today is about calling in blessings to your life and understanding the great, great value of returning to center no matter what you are trying to pull into your life. Even if you're not consciously saying, oh, today I'm creating a dream in my life. Every day you're in creation. You're in the process of manifestation. I've said this before. So it's not that you have to every day wake up and say, what is the big dream I'm creating today? You are creating every day. The universe has arranged it that way. You're in these bodies, and so every day you are putting something forth in the world and a result is occurring. But your job is to create, your job as a conscious being is to create with presence, not just go about motions because somebody told you that you get up and you go to school, or you get up and you go to a job. Your job is to start creating, now that you are aware, to start creating at a higher level, and that occurs through presence. Just like when you're going to take an exam, you have the awareness that I need to sit down and study for this in order to create results. You are going to the swimming pool and you are wanting to master swimming, so you could get in the pool and just try to do it yourself, or you could say, I'm going to put attention on this, slow it all down, take lessons, start with the breathing, then understand how I should kick, understand how my arms go. So we're always dialing it back. The world is asking us to go fast, but in the dialing back, we're going to create at a higher level. And that's when really magical blessings will flow to us. Just think, if you're always in a state of chaos, you're always that student who's running to take an exam and flipping through the textbook 1 hour before and very frantic and all revved up. If you're always like that, what that's doing to your energy field, and also what a disservice it's doing to your actual ability to create. You could create at a much higher level if you dialed it all back. And that's where the practice comes in. So today's offering is to encourage you to have your dreams, to know that they're there, to acknowledge them, to hold on to them, to realize that they are part and parcel of the divine, that there is nothing inherently wrong with any desire you have, to not become attached to the desires. You hear people say that they fell in love when they least expected it. So there was no attachment at that point, and love walked into their life. And to always believe in your own inner wisdom to guide you and direct what would be best for you, and to whisper to you. This is one of the reasons we become very quiet, so that we can receive guidance. We can receive answers. So when I said male and female action and rest, that rest period is where you are receptive. You hear, you sense, you receive the wisdom of the divine. It's like you're cultivating Shakti by sitting in stillness. Somebody may walk by you and say, oh, they're not doing anything. She's just sitting there. But actually, she's cultivating more, greater Shakti. Shakti is feminine power. And so your job is to become aware, to understand that you have within you both feminine and masculine abilities, and to utilize them in balance, to keep them in balance and utilize them as a beautiful marriage that has to exist, a wholeness that has to exist in order for you to create on the highest level. And when I say the highest level, what I mean is the highest level for you at that time. As we gain knowledge, as we do our practices, as we cultivate more energy, we manifest at a higher level. I'm thinking about a guru in India who started by singing under a tree. And people thinking, oh, what is she doing? Is she a little off? She's just sitting there and singing. And now, many, many years later, she has created large ashram centers all over the world, hospitals, schools. So it all started from pure presence of connecting with the divine, and then being guided to create, and many other elements, of course, the elements of the mundane of the world, of selecting land, and if you're going to create something, you also have to do I call it the mundane, but it's not really mundane, but the practical steps involved in creating. Let's say you're creating a center. It's created in your mind, and then you have to go out and find that land and interact with the owner and plan where the building's going to be. But it all starts within. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It all starts within. Your blessings, the abundance, the relationships, the possibilities all begin within. So your job is to work on yourself, work on your energy field, and cultivate the male and the female. Understand when you're doing too much action and when you must rest. Often we go until we crash. Instead, we start to understand how important that rejuvenation, that stillness time is, and we start to cultivate more of that, because that is actually what's going to fuel what we create. It's going to fuel the action. And the action, the physical results, become a byproduct of the energy that you have generated. So it's a beautiful process. Generate more self-awareness, generate more energetic presence in your system, generate more connection with the light within you, generate more stillness, generate more peace, generate more presence, generate more balance, generate more flexibility, more strength, and allow your dreams to then simply unfold, because what will happen is all of that energetic presence you have cultivated will be animating, will be fueling what you create. So today's mantra offering, if you like, you can close your eyes and we will work with the sound vibration that calls in this beautiful dance between Shiva and Shakti. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Today, remember that all you create comes from a deep, deep presence within you. And if you can, this lifetime, cultivate more of this presence, return to this presence, identify with this presence, you will achieve not only your dreams, but you will touch a great, great, great reservoir of bliss, of peace, of depth, of power that is incomparable to any material object. You can draw those material objects to you, you can take delight in those material objects, but within you will have this gift that far transcends anything this world can offer. And that's the path of the yogi and the spiritual practitioner, to reconnect with source energy and to find this great, great reservoir of bliss and peace and presence. I hope this was interesting to you and helpful today. I hope the chanting helped reset your energy field a little bit, dial everything back, and return you to your center, where all of the power lies. If you'd like to join any of our meditation or chanting gatherings, please feel free to DM me on Instagram or connect with me through my website. You can email me and I'll be happy to connect with you, interact with you, and invite you to a gathering or help you with your journey of learning to work with energy. There are many ways we do this. Reiki is one of the best ways to start. I send you peace and light today. May your day be beautiful and inspired by the wisdom within you. Remember, if anything starts to throw you off your center today, take a break, walk away, close your eyes if you can, sit by yourself, and return to center. You can do that through your breath. You can do that through chanting. You can do that through applying Reiki. You can do that through sound vibration. If you are outside somewhere and you feel like I can't start chanting here, people will think I'm weird, you can chant in your head also. There are actually different ways to chant, different levels of chanting. Or you can chant out loud. Nobody cares, really. Everybody's talking to themselves anyway. So, or listening to music or listening to something. So you can always repeat a mantra if you like. And Om is the easiest one to start with. You close your eyes and you Om, 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 Om. It can be very quiet, or you can do it more loudly, however you like. Om, Om, Om. Om Masatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sai Ram, Jai Guruji, Om Amriteshwari Namaha, Hare Krishna, Om Namah Shivaya.